Good day, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. This is Tracy Brown, your somatic nutrition therapist and intuitive eating and body image specialist. So I hope you're having a good day. I'm sure you can hear the wildlife. I think it's a mockingbird you're hearing. Or blue jays too, I see those. So anyway, I'm outside this morning. It's Friday. Actually, I'm doing this video on a Friday. I got my coffee. So we're just gonna talk and chat and be together and drink our coffee. If you wanna get some coffee or tea or whatever and hang out with me. So today I thought I would talk about hope, just how we maintain our hope, because if you are trying to stop dieting and maybe be more in your body for the first time in, let's say, 30 years, or you've got an eating disorder and you're having a bad day or you're having a bad string of days, and how when things feel hard or maybe you didn't follow your recovery plan as close as you'd hoped to or whatever it is, remember that your job in this is to go meal by meal and day by day, being in moments of, I'm going to have a couple tools for you this morning, but being in moments of recognizing that you didn't get to this place in 1 week's worth of trying something new, or even in I've been working with professionals and it's been 3 weeks or 3 months and why am I not done yet? That's just not realistic. If you've been having any more than a couple weeks, or well, I shouldn't say that, any more than a couple months, if you've been dieting any more than a year, you're probably going to need some really focused attention on bringing yourself back into embodiment and feeling comfortable in your own skin and feeling comfortable with your sensations again and trusting that. So it takes some time to basically turn the ship. And the longer you've been, in diet culture or in an eating disorder, the more that we're having to work on the different distortions, the breaking down and breaking free from the different functions you think or you believe that if I, restrict just this one meal and then the rest of the day will be fine, there's a reason for that. Not because it's true. It's just because that's what you're used to. And so how we're going to maintain our hope is recognizing that there's always hope if you're fighting. If you're fighting and your intent each meal is to learn from it as much as possible and do the best you can, honestly, there's always hope. I mean, there's no guarantees about how long or what is the right perfect strategy or process for you. But there's always hope that if you're in the fight and you're willing to do what needs to be done, even if it feels really difficult or you do it 2/3 of the way, there's always hope. If you're doing something, even one little thing a little bit different than you did the last meal or last week, there's always hope. So I want to give some examples. So let's say that you're doing pretty good, you're giving yourself full permission to eat, and it's not faux permission. You're clear. It's no, I really wanted to eat Chinese food for breakfast, and I did that. And things are going pretty good, and I had what I wanted for lunch, and then something happens. For me, this time of year was always really difficult, and I didn't ever know why, and it was because I had some old trapped stuck somatic memories that I would be doing good and then feel kind of just bad, and it wasn't a match sometimes for what was going on in my life. And I had to recognize that's pulling me in, and that's making me want to restrict and think that that's normal or okay or that's going to help me. And I had to recognize that just because I felt that that was the right thing to do doesn't mean it was. And again, there's all kinds of strategies. There's all kinds of strategies for pushing back. There's all kinds of strategies for catching and challenging and changing whatever it is you think you should be doing, or that's your old normal way. The new way is going to feel hard because it's new, and because it feels like that's socially acceptable, or if you don't do it, you might get criticism, or you'll lose something. You're going to hear all that. And as long as you can recognize, I'm going to hear that stuff, I'm going to be uncomfortable, there's hope there. If you can acknowledge that, I know that I, need to follow the people who are trying to help me. I need to follow their suggestions because they can see the bigger picture And, you know, when I'm hearing that diet talk or the eating disorder voice, you know, it can get loud. And if you can even recognize that whole process is happening, you got hope that you're going to continue to grow and to learn, especially when you decide to take risk. So I guess the moral of the story is, like, how do we continue our hope? Is if you're watching this, you should have hope, because I'm suggesting some hard stuff. And if you're able to take that in and at least listen to it and think about, you know, yeah, what hard thing can I do today? Then you've got hope for sure. It doesn't matter if you've worked with, you know, 50 different therapists. It doesn't matter if you've been trying to recover for 20 or 30 years or whatever it is, that if you're still in the fight and you're willing to take risk and you're willing to feel a new kind of uncomfortable and have at least something in your life that you feel like, you know, this isn't a life, even though this is kind of my normal and it's what I know, that doesn't mean that this is how it's supposed to be. If you can recognize that, you've got hope and you got something to fight for. You know, sometimes it doesn't feel like it's always just for yourself. I mean, sometimes I just have people that come to me like, you know, I'm not fully doing this for myself. I'm doing this so it stops with me. And, you know, for me, my motivation at the beginning of my recovery was my family. And I could see not only just the wounds with body image and food, and I was like third generation. I knew that it was about other stuff too, you know, around perfectionism and people pleasing and not speaking truth and all those things, like having a voice about anything and suppressing all kinds of icky stuff. I knew that was true as well, and I was like, this has to stop with me. I don't know what my future is with kids, but if I have any, there was a little bit of a pact with myself, like, it's not going past me. It's just not. That was a commitment, and I was 18 years old. I'm gonna be 40 soon, you know, so I didn't know what my future was gonna look like, but that was my motivation to, like, do things that were just sometimes really excruciating, and fearful, and the worst case scenario in my mind, but yet, you know, there was the thing, and there's a willingness to fight, and that's where that has to come from, and that's your hope. So I know that it's not just about, like, if you try hard enough. I know that we have to just build safety. We have to eat enough to get our brains to get back on board. You know, some of us, there's that switch in our brains, you know, that's like, you eat too little of a certain amount, it's like it turns on that, like, you know, fear and starvation, and you don't want to eat more because it feels uncomfortable. But then once you kind of get past to a certain point of eating more normally, it's like, I don't want to go back there. That's ridiculous. That's awful. And there's no amount of, like, emotional work that sometimes is going to make that feel better. It's almost like a layer of, like, I got to get to this point. When I get to this point, I can do the deeper work. So you may be at that position. If you even recognize that's the truth and you hang on to that and you have a goal of some level of renourishment, then you're in the fight, and then you have hope. If you're a person that's like, how am I ever going to stop binging? It's just this cycle over and over again. My thought is, you know, what are we reenacting with these cycles? And what do you need to do to feel more safe? If you can answer those questions, or at least, like, even ask the question before you can answer it, you've got hope. So I don't know if this video was more just a pep talk or if it was instructional. It was just something that I was asked about hope. How do you keep hope when things have been going on for a really long time? I would say have a motive to want to do this. Maybe it's for yourself only. Maybe it's beyond yourself. You know, if you don't feel like you're worth fighting for, then have something. And of course, seek the right help. Of course, always. We can't do this by ourselves. It's just really difficult. I know some people fully recover by themselves. I don't think that's the norm, and that's not saying a bad thing. It's just saying that, like, we all need counsel. We all need support in some kind of way, just to be out of our own blind spots. And I think thirdly, if you're willing to be uncomfortable, even just a little bit, doing something different than you typically do, then you've got hope. So thank you so much. This video might be important to somebody out there, so if you feel like somebody needs to hear some hope, to know what's possible, just know there's a lot of people. I've worked with people who've been struggling for a really long time, and they do get better. I've worked with people who maybe the years aren't super long, stuck in diet culture or the eating disorder, but they've been through, like a lot of us, some really rough stuff, and they're on the other side of it, you know, still having days where they're difficult, but they're not ever going back to like that way of coping. And you know, I know it's possible. So all right, thank you all so much. Please share this with somebody you think that might need it. If you are watching the replay, I'd love to hear about that. If you felt like this touched you in some way, or you could see yourself in it in the past, or if you just know that somebody needs this, leave a heart, please share it, whatever. It's really important that people know that, like, we're wired, you know, we're wired for connection, and we're wired to be free around food and weight. This is something that maybe we thought we needed to survive this rough and tumble world, for sure, but it's not a savior. You know, this thing will not, having a smaller body, eating less food, having the perfect look or body or fitness level or food intake is not going to get rid of this discomfort you feel in your system, in your body. It's just something to do right that second, to ride that wave, and then you're on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it's time for something different. So I'm encouraging you to do that today. And I will see you all real soon. I'm going to be, on the weekends, I know I don't do that as many videos, but I will be, you know, posting little things just to kind of keep you thinking, keep you motivated. And if you're not on my, if you don't get my emails, please sign up. I can put a link below. But I'm going to be sending out just some little questions, because I want to know what you all want to hear about, what you guys want to do, what things make you feel like, oh, I'm getting the exact tool and resource I need. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I've been doing this a long time. I've got tools and handouts upon tools and handouts. Like, I just keep creating stuff. You know, I don't sell everything. A lot of things I just give away. They're on my website, or I'm just like, oh, I need to like share this because I use this, or I don't use this enough, and it's really good. So I do that stuff in my list sometimes. And if you're not on it, I'd love for you to get on it just to get the free stuff. You know, it's good, it's fun. Anyway, I'll talk to you all real soon, and take care.